I have watched 4 movies this week, so without further ado, hello, let's crack on with this week's episode of the movie wrap-up right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. Let's see what movie I'll be reviewing first in this week's episode of Steve's Movie Wrap-Up. You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up, episode 40, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is Harold and the Purple Crayon. The first movie that I'll be talking about this week is Harold and the Purple Crayon, which I gave 2 stars over on Letterboxd. So Harold and the Purple Crayon has recently been released in cinemas and theatres worldwide, and I have seen this film for myself. So what did I think of this one? Well, there was times where that I may have let out a snigger or two at this film, but I didn't really find it funny. The problem with this film is also just lack of character development as well, which I will dive into next. So the film has a running time of 1 hour and 30 minutes. Take away the credits at the end of the movie and you are looking at around 1 hour and 23 minutes for a film. And I will be honest, the characters in here, there was a few of them. You had 2 police officers investigating these weird people causing chaos, and I'm referring to Harold and his 2 friends Moose and Porcupine. But the 2 police officers didn't have a lot of screen time or any character development. You had the mother, Terry, who in all honesty had more character development than the rest of the characters in the film. Gary, who is a librarian and also the villain in the film, he didn't have a lot of screen time for a bad guy. And it just felt like the payoff at the end of the film was just basically a cop-out as well, which I won't dive into because of spoilers. But what I will say about this film is there is a part of me that did enjoy it, though, because it was a lot of it was a bit of escapism, and you're entering this world where anything is possible thanks to imagination. As a kids film, this does work. There is a couple of jokes that adults will get and the kids won't, which I did snigger at a couple of times in terms of those jokes throughout the film. But that aside, though, that's all I can say is actually that is actually great with the film. I did find Zachary Levi a little annoying and being too childish in the role of Harold. Don't know if that was actually the aim for the film, though. Zoe Deschanel I thought was great in as the mum, Terry. I did have a feeling it was her. It was only when I went on to Letterboxd to review this film I had it confirmed that it was Zoe playing the role of Terry. Tanya Reynolds, who a lot of people will know from Netflix's Sex Education series, was really good in her role as Porcupine, in human form anyways. And also I loved what they did with her hair, making it all wild and purple. I thought she looked cool like that. Lil Ray Howery I thought was great as Harold's sidekick throughout the movie, playing the role of Moose. And Jermaine Clement I thought was okay as the villain or bad guy in this movie, but I just wish his character would have more screen time though. I think if this movie had an extra 15 or 20 minutes, then maybe the star rating for this would have been a bit higher, because this did have a potential to be a great film. It's just a shame that most of the characters either didn't have enough screen time or they didn't get developed enough, and also it would have fleshed out the beginning of the movie a lot better, because within the first 10 minutes of the film Harold and his friends were in the real world. I wish we could have seen a little more of the animated side of things and just not felt like the beginning of the movie had to be rushed through for the sake of the running time. Would this be a film I would likely get when it gets released on digital? I mean, it might be a film that I might see again, sure. I wouldn't mind going back and watching it every now and then, but I wouldn't say it's something that I need to rush to get and buy when it hits digital platforms. So, would I recommend this film? Well, if you have nothing better to see at the cinemas over the next few weeks, then sure, give it a watch. If you want to see something slightly fun and a bit of escapism too, but I wouldn't rush out to the cinema to see this one though. Harold and the Purple Crayon is now showing in cinemas and theatres worldwide. The Mousetrap. The Mousetrap I gave 2 stars over on Letterboxd. I'm going to be totally honest here. Was this horror movie terrible? Yes, it was. Was it taking swipes at Disney at times? Yes, it was. Not in the same way that Deadpool and Wolverine does mind. This film takes more swipes at Mickey Mouse more than anything, and maybe at the beginning of the film it does pretend to act like the beginning of a Star Wars film as well. But aside from this though, what did I think of this film? Well, as mentioned in the opening of this review, this horror movie was terrible. It wasn't the greatest horror movie we have been graced with in 2024, sadly. And yes, there will be more Steamboat Willie, also known as Mickey Mouse horror films, coming out between sometime in 2024 and over the next year or so. All thanks to Steamboat Willie entering the public domain at the beginning of the year. Just like when Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain a few years ago, and since then we have had 2 horror movies and a third one being in the works, and a Pooniverse since Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain. Well, Mickey, or Steamboat Willie as he should be known as here, is no different. Thanks, there's a few horror movies that are coming up soon, and he has even been in some horror video games, so I believe. There's a character in this film called Becca, I believe is her name. She was great, and I don't know why, but she kind of reminded me of a rip-off version of Jenna Ortega. I kind of felt like if this movie had a bigger budget and with more well-known faces, Jenna Ortega would have had been great, had been fit the role perfectly to play the gothic girl Becca in this film. I do apologise though for calling the actress a rip-off version of Jenna Ortega, because in all seriousness, the actress that played that role was great. Take it as a compliment. Yes, the kills were ridiculously bad, but then again, that is what you get when you have a very low-budget horror movie like this one. I will say though, the movie mainly being set in an arcade I thought was awesome. Just imagine being in an arcade on your own late at night. How cool it would be. You can play on whatever game or machine that you would like to. Anyways, the character of Alex I thought was great, and the actress that played the role, I thought she did the role well. The ending of the movie, it did end rather abruptly, like something happens and then boom, that's it. The credits begin to roll on this film. I don't get why in the story though we see Becca being interviewed by the police from behind bars. That just never made any sense to me at the end of the movie. What about the other characters? Not unless she was the only survivor in this film, but at the end it didn't seem like that. Anyways, that confused me a lot. There was sometimes though that I did find this movie rather funny, to be honest, and not because this was a comedy in any way, but it's just because of how painfully awful this film did get from time to time. I will say that though, I will say this though, there is a moment in this film where we hear the theme music from the first Mickey Mouse short, Steamboat Willie, where we hear the whistle from that short film, but they did it, or tried to do it, in such a creepy way. It kind of works, but at the same time was rather laughable too. I will give the movie some credit though, because I did love the use of lighting in this film. I thought the lighting and the way it was done in a creative and really well done way, but there was some parts of this movie which made the film make no sense, but also a little wacky as well, including making Steamboat Willie have the ability to transport from one place to another very quickly. Yes, this film did indeed go there. Hundreds of Beavers. So Hundreds of Beavers I gave 3.5 stars over on Letterboxd. This is actually the 100th movie title to be released in 2024 that I've watched this year in 2024, and this has also been a movie that has been on the watch list for a while, given the fact that I have seen so many positive reviews for this film. So Hundreds of Beavers, is this a movie that I will be reviewing with a mostly positive reaction? Well, yes. This did kind of remind me of a live-action Looney Tunes cartoon, except the movie is 1 hour and 48 minutes and not a 15-minute cartoon. But that being said, though, I thought that most of the gags in this film was really funny, and it certainly would give a character tier like Bugs Bunny a run, Bugs Bunny a run for his money for sure. I love the fact that we don't really get a lot of dialogue in here. Similar to what you would get in most cartoons from back in the day, you would just get some ambient background music to fill the cartoon with tension or fun moments. But depending on the type of scene, and then mostly the scenes would also be made up of just sound effects, and with this movie here it's no different. You have music playing throughout most scenes of the film, and I will be honest, the music scoring I thought was rather good and did what it needed to, especially during the scenes where there might have been tension or conflict. And then the sound effects I thought were great as well. Some of them, just like in cartoons you would have found back in the day, I did find really funny after seeing this film. No joke, I really did want to go back and see some classic cartoons from the likes of Looney Tunes. It's just a shame that I don't know where you can stream those cartoons here in the UK. The film is in black and white, and actually while I am on the discussion of that, I don't know why, it might have something to do with like some of the sound effects, but there was times where I did actually feel like with some sound effects and the film being done in black and white, sometimes it just felt as though I was watching an episode of Doctor Who from the 1960s, which I have done in the past, by the way. In this, is this a film I would watch again? Likely so. There was a lot of funny and comedic elements to this film that I did enjoy, even if it was something that I would just like to put on in the background just for background noise. I think it could work for that as well. Hundreds of Beavers is now available to buy and rent on digital platforms. Borderlands. And the last movie I have seen this week is Borderlands, which I gave 1 star over on Letterboxd. So Borderlands, more like Border Bad. This film was absolutely terrible, and I will be honest here, even though I have no nostalgia playing the video game franchise, as I've never played the video games before, but I am aware that this movie is based on the video game adaptation, and I will admit that this film is really bad. Probably the worst released movie of 2024 so far, and there has been some bad films that were released in the first half of the year. Is this going to be a film that I will remember in the space of a week? I won't lie. To be honest, even at the time of doing this review, I don't remember much of this film already. You do have an all-star cast in this film, as you do have Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, who voices the robot Claptrap in this film, and Kate Blanchett star in this film. I will say that the characters are just bland, and they also have no personality, character development, or really a lot of yeah, just a really lot of personality. The film has a running time of 1 hour and 41 minutes, and I will say that the beginning of the film felt rather rushed, and the ending of the film was really rushed as well. Like, as soon as the villain is defeated, they rush through the final scene of the film before the credits began to roll. The film is directed by Eli Roth, and I will be honest, there are a couple of projects that Eli Roth has done in the past that I have enjoyed, such as Thanksgiving and the original Cabin Fever film, as Eli Roth does make some hit and miss films, and sadly for me, this was a miss for me. Was this film funny? It wasn't, and it was trying to be funny, but not once did I laugh at any point of this film. So the comedy was forced in this film. The dialogue was just all over the place. I felt as though the story was all over the place as well, and the villain was just really weak and didn't get a lot of screen time neither, aside from towards the end of the film. Is this a film I will be watching again? Definitely not. And is this a film that I would recommend people to watch in cinemas? Definitely not. I feel as though this film shouldn't have been released in cinemas. I feel as though this film should have been released on a streaming service, because this genuinely is how this film felt for me. It just felt like a film you wouldn't have seen in cinemas, a film that you would have watched on a streaming service like Netflix or Prime Video. But Borderlands, though, in case you do want to see it for yourself, is now showing in cinemas and theatres worldwide. And that is all I've got time for this episode of the movie wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what movies you guys have been watching this past week, whether it's old, new, in cinemas or on streaming service. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, if you are new around here, you like what you see, feel free free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Stevo. Now, I'm going to be honest, fingers crossed, if everything is going to go okay at the time of recording this video, hopefully I will be going live on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial, later this evening, Sunday the 11th of August 2024 at 9:30 PM UK time, where I'll be discussing D23 and all the announcements from D23 from Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney, all of that. I'll be trying, hopefully I'll be going live, just fingers crossed that everything is going all good. But also as well, I just want to say that actually I'm now going to be starting to use my camera a lot more. I've not been using it for the last couple of weeks, admittedly, because I have been taking a break from vlogging, aside from obviously when I've been doing my movie wrap-up videos. And every now and then I have picked up my vlogging camera and done a bit of vlogging for you guys, ready for the next episode of Steve's Weekly Vlog. Steve's Weekly Vlog is, just a quick reminder, going to be back on the Monday the 19th of August at 4 PM UK time, and it will be releasing every Monday, every week going forward from then, until I decide to take another break, of course. So yeah, so there is a little bit of content that I have already filmed from the end of July to the beginning of this month as well. So there'll be that coming up in the next episode of the weekly vlog, as well as everything that I've been up to this upcoming week as well. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, but I'll be back again soon with my next movie wrap up. But until then, it's goodbye, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys again in my next YouTube video.